Wilma, you had an announcement?
Not really an announcement. I just want to say on behalf of the Arts and Literature Curriculum Committee, and I'm sure all of you, I want to thank Mike Foley for putting together this class. It has been fabulous.
I have to step back from that one a little bit. There are about 20 people that have been involved in putting this together, and probably nobody more than Lynn Lipton here. Lynn, you had an announcement?
No announcement, but somebody sent me, I think it was you, Fred, a clip of Bill Monroe's, a movie being made about Bill Monroe.
This next number that I want to sing for you, for all of you folks that go from here tonight, and I hope you'll enjoy it, and I hope you will remember this song. And it's called Blue Moon of Kentucky. Shine on the one that's gone and said goodbye.
At this point, I'd like to turn the mic over to Andy Ding, who's going to show us the dobro.
Since you haven't seen it, I thought I'd let everybody have a good look at it. It's the sixth instrument in the Bluegrass Band. Bill Monroe's classic Bluegrass Band lineup, starting in the mid-1940s, was a five-piece band with Bill on the mandolin and banjo, guitar, fiddle, and bass fiddle. No dobro. It wasn't until the mid-1950s, about 10 years after Bill really crystallized the Bluegrass Band lineup, that the dobro was introduced to bluegrass by the band of Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs and the Foggy Mountain Boys when they added a dobro player whose name was Uncle Josh Graves to the band. I thought I'd start out just by telling you a little bit about what the dobro is and how it's played, and then a little bit about how it got into bluegrass and some of the leading dobro personalities over the years in bluegrass music. I have to step away from the mic, I think, to show you some of this. But the first thing you notice about the dobro is that it's obviously a guitar of some kind. It looks like a guitar, it's shaped like a guitar, it's got guitar strings on it. But there are also some differences, some of which you can probably see from where you're seated, and maybe some of which you can't. Probably the most visible difference is it's got this big metal plate in the middle of the top, and that actually covers up a mechanical amplification system. This design of guitar was invented in the 1920s by a group of Czech immigrants, 3 brothers named Opera. And Opera brothers lent their name to dobro, which is a contraction of Opera brothers, and it also means good in Slavic languages, which appeal to their ethnic roots. In the 1920s, they were looking for a way to amplify a guitar, to make the guitar louder, because guitars were by nature soft and hard to hear in big bands of the era. This was before bluegrass had really been developed, so it wasn't developed with bluegrass in mind. It was an attempt to mechanically amplify a guitar. So underneath this cover plate is an 8-leg metal strut or bridge that the strings pass over and actually contact. And that transmits the vibration of the strings to an aluminum speaker cone. So underneath that, so underneath the cover plate is this strut, and underneath the strut is an aluminum speaker cone. It looks just like the speaker cone that you have in your stereo at home. And that vibrates and creates kind of I guess the idea is an amplified guitar sound. So that's the mechanics of it down here. It's different from the regular guitar in other ways too, including most obviously the way it's played. Played in the left hand, you probably can't really see this very well, but I'm holding up a stainless steel bar which has a nice curved edge on it and which is used as a slide. So that's, it enables the player to slide the bar up and down the strings and change the pitch of the strings using the bar instead of one's hand. And again, the guitar is played flat in front of you like this, rather than as vertically as a conventional guitar. And the other thing you may not be able to see from where you're seated is how high the strings are above the neck. The strings are not, on this guitar, are not made to be played in a conventional guitar style, sort of wrapping your fingers around the neck and pushing the strings down to the frets. The frets on this guitar are just inlaid position markers. They're not real stainless steel frets, so you don't actually push the strings down to the frets with this. The frets are just a way of telling you what note you're playing, where you are. And because, again, you're using the bar to stop the strings, it's kind of like playing the guitar with one finger. That works on this instrument because, like the 5-string banjo that Bill Keith lectured about 2 weeks ago, the dobro is tuned to a major chord, so that the strings on the dobro, when strummed, without any fret, produce a G major chord, or more or less, if I'm in tune or close to in tune. And in that respect, it's very like the banjo, and it's like the banjo in another way, in that the top 4 strings of the dobro, D, G, B, and D, are the same as the 4 long strings of the 5-string banjo. And this results in the ability to play some banjo music on the dobro. And it helps with the steel bar having an open chord, because you can just lay the bar down at any fret and get another major chord. You can get an A major chord at the 2nd fret, B, C, D, just by putting the bar down and not doing anything with it. So there's a D chord. Again, because of the fact that you're really limited to the one metal finger to play this thing, it helps to be able to get the right hand into the act. And like a banjo, bluegrass dobro players have a thumb pick. Again, you probably can't really see this, but on the right hand, the thumb pick and 2 finger picks, same as a banjo player. And that's also been a constant since Josh Graves joined the Flat and Scruggs band in the 1950s. Before Josh, the preeminent dobro player in what was then known as old-time country music was a fellow named Pete Kirby, who worked with Roy Acuff's band starting in the late 1930s. He's better known by the stage name that Acuff gave him, which was Bashful Brother Oswald, and he was really the... dobro players seem to have been comedians in bands, at least in the early days, so that they all had comic personas, and Pete Kirby's comic persona was Bashful Brother Oswald. Acuff's band included a woman, and there was some concern that audiences might look a little bit dubiously on a woman traveling with a group that was otherwise composed of men. So Oswald was designated as her bashful brother to make it sound okay. Well, she's got a chaperone, so there's no problem. Oswald stayed with Acuff from 1938 when he joined the group until 1992 when Acuff passed away, and then Oswald continued to play on the Grand Ole Opry with Acuff's surviving members of the Acuff band. Probably Oswald's most famous dobro moment with Acuff was the kickoff to a tune called Wabash Cannonball, which was Acuff's biggest hit back in the 1940s. And I thought I would briefly illustrate little snippets of playing that are sort of intended to be, and hopefully are slightly reminiscent of the styles of the people I'm talking about. So Oswald's kickoff with Acuff on the Wabash Cannonball went something like this. Oswald was heavily influenced by the Hawaiian guitar players who had developed a style of playing guitar with a slide in the late 19th and early 20th century, and that music had been very popular in the U.S., played on conventional guitars really before these were invented. And Hawaiian guitar players developed, there were some great Hawaiian guitar virtuosos, and Oswald, in his style of country dobro playing, was very heavily influenced by them. And some of the moves in that were kind of reminiscent of some of the Hawaiian players, including that kind of slidey and then kind of move was a very popular Hawaiian guitar technique. Oswald was the reigning country dobro player until Uncle Josh came along, and in the 1950s, Earl Scruggs met up with Uncle Josh and showed him a few right-hand banjo-style rolls that Josh incorporated into his dobro playing, so that by the time Josh joined Flatt and Scruggs in the 50s, he worked up kind of a banjo sound that imitated on the dobro to some extent the kind of really fast picking that Earl Scruggs was doing on the banjo. And one of the tunes that I thought illustrated Josh's sort of banjo style pretty well was the break he took on an old Flatt and Scruggs banjo instrumental that Earl played called Home Sweet Home, which went something like this. He was much copied during the 50s and 60s by other bluegrass dobro players. The next sort of big advance in dobrology was, I didn't make that up, I just heard that on the radio, was pioneered by a guy named Mike Aldridge, who began to play in the late 1960s in DC area bands in Washington where bluegrass was quite popular. He was the nephew of a guy who played the dobro on records by Jimmy Rogers in the late 20s and early 30s. And so he came by it honestly, and he was a protege of Uncle Josh, but he kind of took it a little bit further than Uncle Josh had taken it. He kind of smoothed out some of the rough edges and made it a little more uptown sounding. He was interested in other kinds of music besides bluegrass, big band swing, and other things. So he sort of pioneered a kind of more smooth sound, as I said, took some of the rough edges off the style of people like Josh, and made the dobro an instrument that could play a wider variety of music than just traditional country and bluegrass. He recorded on albums by Linda Ronstadt and other pop stars, as well as numerous bluegrass and country albums. And I thought, again, just a little snippet, like the Oswald one, just a kickoff of something that he did with the Seldom Seen. It was a gospel number that they recorded in the 70s that Grandpa Jones wrote called Fallen Leaves. And Mike does this very simple but very pretty sort of smooth style kickoff, which I will do my best to recreate. firsthand from Mike in his basement, because when I lived in DC, it was when I started playing this thing about 30 years ago, and I was lucky enough to be able to get some lessons with him, which got me off on the right start. And that was one of the things I asked him to show me, because I thought it was so pretty. He played with a band called Seldom Seen in DC for many years, and they were, for a long time in the 70s and 80s, probably the most popular and widely heard bluegrass band in the country. And he really brought the sound to a new generation of listeners and inspired a lot of other dobro players, a few of whom are quite popular now. And I'll just mention one of them, probably the most influential dobro player of the past 30 years, a guy named Jerry Douglas, who is roughly my age. He's been at it for a lot longer than I have, though. And he's kind of the reigning dobro technician superstar of the day, and his phenomenal technique has really inspired a host of other people like Rob Ikes and other dobro players out there. One of Jerry's innovations was to bring to the dobro something of the melodic style that Bill Keith pioneered on the 5-string banjo. In his early recordings, Jerry was one of the first dobro players to really sort of open up those kinds of possibilities to bluegrass dobro players. And one of his tunes, or one of the tunes that he demonstrated this on early on in his career, was an instrumental by Jim and Jesse called the Dixie Hoedown. And Jerry's take on it was something like this. Was the kind of playing that Bill had been pioneering on the 5-string banjo a few years before. And you know, nowadays there are a host of dobro players out there, all of whom are sort of descendants of the people I've mentioned musically, and they're playing just about every kind of music you can think of on it. People who've taken it way beyond my capacity to demonstrate. So you just have to take my word for it. There are a lot of great players out there. And, I thank you for listening and for giving me a few minutes to talk about it. Yes?
When you use the bar, are you only pressing on the strings to the extent is necessary to set the length that can vibrate, or do you push it down to the fingerboard?
The question was, how hard do I push down on the strings? And the answer is just enough to stop the string, to shorten the string at that length. I don't have to push it to the fingerboard because it's just basically a piece of ebony with little white stripes across it. There are no frets to push it to. Oh. And if I pushed it that far, because the strings are about a ½ inch or more off the fingerboard, they go woefully out of tune, more so than just being out of tune from the way I play it. The dobro is sometimes referred to as the resonator guitar, or the resophonic guitar, or less kindly, the pitch approximation device. I've had people tell me that. I'm sure it has nothing to do with my playing, but in any event, again, I thank you for letting me talk to you about this.
At this point, I'd like to call up the rest of the crew. Here on out, let's get some music.
I feel the Tourette's like compulsion. Call it Joan. Listening to your wonderful explanation of what the dobro is, it put me in mind of this little story I heard. And the question is, what do you get when you put a dobro and an accordion together?
I don't know. Mandolin, you get
Kindling for a bagpipe fire.
Let me know if you can't hear me, by the way.
What?
Yeah, right? All right. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you so much for having us here at the, well, thank all of you for signing up in the first place and supporting this wonderful class, and thanks to the HBBA for taking it on in the first place. They did a lot of work presenting bluegrass and bringing it to the masses, as it were, and this is quite a mass of wonderful people. We're so glad that you're here. That first song was 9-Pound Hammer, if you want to make notes of these things, if you didn't get that. Like my mother would say, well, I didn't mention it enough in the chorus, but that was can't come up with another word. That was 9-Pound Hammer. Now we're going to do a fiddle tune. I guess it is a fiddle tune? Yeah. I'm asking you, young man. This is called Big Scioto. We decide who's kicking this off. Are you surprised?
I missed a meeting.
That's okay, yes, you did. That's all right.
Oh, where would you...
You don't have to kill it. we go on too long, I'd like to introduce my fellow musicians up here. They've all done a wonderful job so far. I think you recognized all of them right now. We've met Andy Bing here. To my right, she's a wonderful fiddler. We're so proud that Alaska let her come down here to study at Vassar, and we're very pleased to have made her acquaintance and friendship. Like I said, all the way from Alaska via Vassar, this is Kalia Yeagle.
Whereabouts in Alaska? Wait, Alaska. I'll be here all weekend, folks.
It is Groucho Marx. There you go. We got it.
I mean, it has a comic persona, too. It's not telling us who it is. I don't.
Actually, I've got a package deal here. We've got a father and son team, so I'm going to introduce them together. On the bass, wonderful player. He's doing some really interesting things these days. He's been actually touring with Jonathan Edwards, if that rings a bell. Please make welcome Rick Brodsky. And obviously you've met this bright, shining young star. He's been playing what, since you were like 3 months old? Is that 3 years, right? 3 years old, right? And he's been digging away at it and chopping away, and he's really doing a fabulous job. This is Korey Brodsky. Keep an eye on him. To me, right here, because he cares so much.
It's actually a minimalist introduction for the next one I'm working on.
Wayne he's actually a founding member of this the wonderful group Out to Lunch. Currently plays with Uncommon Ground and about 40 other ensembles. Every time I turn around, he's doing something incredibly interesting. Please make welcome Wayne Fugate. And back in the corner here, very well behaved, I might add, sporting a very jaunty chapeau. He is a piece of bluegrass history. We're very proud, absolutely. A nice piece of bluegrass history, I might add, a fine piece, as it were.
Still making bluegrass history.
Still making bluegrass history. We are very proud to be up here playing with Bill Keith. We've met our friend here on the dobro. He's been kind enough to lend those wonderful sounds to our ensemble here, and I'm sure actually I heard the end of his presentation, he did a wonderful job. This is Andy Bing. Thank you. And I'm Joan Harrison, just in case you want to. In case I happen.
How is it that a banjo and a homicide are similar? Everyone is relieved when the case is closed.
We are so the butt of the jokes around here. That's fine.
You are in a
as a group, you become comfortable with that, right, Bill? It's just okay. Well, they have to find a way to feel superior. It's the best thing. All right. Huh?
Why do fiddle tunes have names?
Why do fiddle tunes have names?
So you can tell them apart.
It's getting ugly up here. All right.
Second half of the verse. Oh, 1, 3, 2,
'That's all I do. You should leave how much I miss you. If ever we should part, cry, darling. That's all I do, 'cause you're the one that's in my heart. That's all I do, 'cause you're the one that's in my heart. We're going to play another one or two here. We're going to do Old Dangerfield. All right.
Here we go. say, and not to put him on the spot, but if listening to this guy doesn't light your fire, then folks, your wood is wet.
So what's next on the hit parade here, Joan?
Salt Creek and Bill recorded this, so by all means. And have you kick this off? Does that work?
Actually, next year will be the 50th anniversary.
You gotta be
Get at it.
Give him a hand for that one.
I don't know if everyone heard that. Did everybody hear when he said will be, next year is the 50th anniversary of Bill recording this with Bill Monroe. So just so everyone heard that.
I can still remember how it goes. I wasn't too.
standing up here thinking for us banjo players, that's kind of like having Leonardo show you the Mona Lisa. That's just really cool. So thanks again, Bill.
How about really banjos?
Yeah, I can think deeply too.
You'll have to go to the videotape for that one.
Yeah, really. Alright. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you for being such a marvelous and appreciative audience. So you think this class is a success? We're doing great. All right, we're going to channel Ralph Stanley a little bit here. We're going to clinch, mount, back step. 1, 2, 3, finish out this set with one that we think you can sing along with. We know we don't have the big karaoke screen back here. We're going to do Sitting on Top of the World when it comes to Now I'm Gone. Wait, you're gone? Who's gone? I got the words. She's gone.
But I'm not worried.
But I'm not worried. There you go. Now I'm getting worried. And pronoun problems. Now she's gone, but I'm not worried because I'm sitting on top of the world. Is that it? So if you guys can remember that, now obviously if I can remember it, you can remember it. You're free to sing along with us when we get to that part.
1, 2, 3.
Sitting on top of the world.
back there. This is going to get you guys going again. I love that. We love to see people dance. So anyone? Yep. Cut the rug or the floor, as it were. Ready? All ready? All in on time?
Well, I wish you the love that I never